What's up, guys? Last night we got our first major update to Apex Legends, and let me tell you, it's looking pretty promising. It's very clear that these devs are passionate about this project. They're listening to the feedback. They're hearing our feedback. There's a difference between just simply listening to it and actually hearing it and employing changes. And it looks like they definitely want to work with the community to kind of mold and transform this game into something amazing. So it's looking like we've got a pretty bright future here with this game. But anyway, they made a Reddit post last night that detailed everything. Some of the changes they put in so far, they actually balanced a few of the weapons, adjusted some spawn rates and some other things. We'll talk about that here in a second. They also talked about future changes they're looking to make in the immediate future, as well as just kind of like their overarching, approach to updates and stuff like that, which is kind of interesting. So I wanted to go through, highlight all the important parts of this update and let you guys know what's going on. Now, first of all, they did talk briefly about the, Season 1 of the Battle Pass. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this image here. So we are supposed to get Season 1 of the Battle Pass in March. It's March right now. It's March 7th. We still have 3 weeks of March left, and they basically said, just have patience. They're not quite ready to talk about it yet. It is being worked on. They're excited about it, but it's not ready yet, and I guess that's fine. I feel like a lot of people, myself included, are getting a little bit impatient, but I mean, it's crazy to think that the game came out like a month ago and everybody already wants updates, so it's understandable. Let them do their things. I'm sure they've got some exciting stuff on the way. Now, the second thing they talked about, and this is kind of fitting because this is the first update, this is the first time we've really heard from them, they're talking about their approach to balancing in this game, and they basically said that they want fewer, more impactful changes, which is kind of, the way they've done it so far. So they said they don't want players to have to go and read patch notes every single week to see what crazy meta changes there are, what crazy new item, which weapons are now irrelevant, and which ones have been buffed to oblivion, stuff like that. They want to give you more time to just like master the game, be comfortable with the game, and then when they add things in or change things, they want it to be more impactful and more thought out and more tested and whatever else. They said that they wanted to listen to feedback, confirm it with their data, make some changes and test it internally extensively, like for a long time, play it a ton, make sure it fits in seamlessly with everything else, and then release it to the public. And that, obviously it kind of cuts back on that, like, oh, we put this thing in, oh wait, it doesn't make sense, we gotta nerf it or we gotta take it out or whatever else. And obviously it's a bit of a dig at Fortnite. Fortnite's had quite a few moments where they add some sort of an item or equipment or something like that in, and then they immediately have to take it out or nerf it just even a couple days later, and Apex doesn't want to do that, which I do understand. That makes sense. I like that idea that everything's gonna be a little bit more polished, a little bit more tested by the time it gets to us, but at the same time, I do like more frequent updates because it keeps things, keeps people on your toes, it keeps you, interested, invested in it, and it keeps things fresh. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. I do respect that they're trying to make sure that things make more sense on their end before they just start randomly throwing stuff into the game. But we'll see how that works out. Now, moving on to some of the changes they made last night. The first round of weapon tuning changes are live, and the Wingman has been affected. Now, the Wingman on console is not nearly as bad as the Wingman on PC, obviously. PC players, mouse and keyboard, a lot of times are more accurate, and the Wingman was a huge problem on PC. It was still pretty powerful on console too, so they did nerf the Wingman a little bit. They said they wanted it to be more like a hand cannon rather than a full auto deagle. So they reduced the fire rate by 16%. They reduced the effectiveness of the skull piercer headshot damage increase by 10%, and they increased the hip fire spread of it. So all in all, really not that crazy of a nerf to it. It is still a very, very viable weapon, especially if you're accurate, but it did get a little bit of a nerf. The Peacekeeper had a slight nerf to the shotgun bolt, so you gotta make sure you're being more accurate with the Peacekeeper. They also reduced the spawn rate of the Wingman and the Peacekeeper, so overall you're gonna see less of those, which those are two of the more powerful guns in the game, so I guess that kind of makes sense. And the next thing, a buff that they did that I'm actually really excited about, they increased the spawn rate of energy weapons and energy ammo. So they said that because of the lack of ammo, they felt like energy weapons were hard to main. They increased it now, and I think that was a good move. I'm gonna be honest, I really liked the Devotion at first. I like the Havoc rifle with the turbocharger, but I never pick those up because it's so hard to find energy ammo. Like it's such a pain. You run out so much, and now they're fixing that, so energy weapons are going to be a little bit more of a viable option, which is kind of cool. And finally, the last thing they mentioned in this department, they didn't make any changes, but they said that the P2020 and the Mozambique are designed to be the slightly better than melee options for early game, and they appreciate all the memes, but they're keeping them how they are for now. They said they will keep an eye on them, and who knows, eventually they might have to buff them a little bit, but they said that they are literally designed to be on the lower end of the weapon curve. They aren't meant to be a good middle or late game weapon. They're just meant to be pick something up at the beginning and then swap it out later, which I guess makes sense. So anyway, moving on to some of the changes they're going to be bringing in the future. This is where things get interesting. If you guys remember my hitboxes video, they actually talked about that. Not about my video, but just about the idea in general. So they agreed that the larger legends, particularly Pathfinder, Caustic, and Gibraltar, which are the three biggest ones in terms of hitboxes, are a bit underpowered, and the large hitboxes have a big part to do with that. They 100% agreed with that. So they said they're looking into some changes here. So what they're currently doing is looking at reducing the size of the hitboxes. Again, they're doing those tests internally. We'll have to wait and see what they think before they end up pushing it live. They said they're going to test that out. If that doesn't help enough, they're also looking at potentially doing like natural damage reduction. So like, Gibraltar doesn't take as much damage from a shot as some other characters, and or power tweaks. They said that they would like to increase the power of those operators or those legends, whatever you want to call them, before they decrease the powers of everyone else. They think everyone else, especially those bottom 5 characters, they think they're in a really good spot. But for the top 3, the biggest 3, they'd like to kind of bump those a little bit, which I definitely think does make the most sense. So that's something they're currently working on. It is not live yet, but it should be coming soon. So if you guys like Caustic, Gibraltar, or Pathfinder, then you've got some good news coming your way at some point in the near future. And finally, last but not least, we have got some legend changes coming in Season 1 of the Battle Pass. So again, that should be sometime within the next 3 weeks. So they said they're going to be buffing Caustic's abilities all around. I'm excited about that. Caustic is a fun legend to play. He's just not very good. I think he has the weakest abilities as of right now. So having bigger traps that do damage more quickly and all kinds of stuff, they made quite a few changes there. It's going to be exciting. Caustic's going to be pretty good, hopefully. Pathfinder is going to get 2 additional beacons on the map. So instead of the 10 beacons for his passive ability to be able to scan the circle, he's now going to have 12 to choose from, which I don't see that that's the biggest change, but whatever. Lifeline is no longer going to be able to get level 4 armor or helmets from her care package drops, which is kind of interesting. I think that was a really low chance in the first place anyway. Wraith's Into the Void cooldown time is going to be extended by 5 seconds, so you're not going to be able to use that as much. And then Bangalore's double time speed bonus is going to drop from 30% to a 20% increase in speed. So it's dropping, it's about 25% slower, which, I mean, that's definitely one of the more powerful passive abilities in the game, so I understand that. So, yeah, there you guys have it. Overall, very good stuff happening. I mean, the 2 biggest complaints that we have seen about this game so far were the Wingman being overpowered, especially on PC, and the hitboxes of the Legends. And they have nailed both of those problems in this first update, which I'm really excited about. So like I said, they've got their ear to the ground very clearly. Respawn is listening to us. They're excited to work with us and build this game into hopefully one of the best first-person shooters that we have seen in a very long time. So we'll have to wait and see how all this shakes out. I'm excited for Season 1 of the Battle Pass. Let me know what you guys think about all this down in the comments, and I'm going to see you guys later. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already. Peace out. I'm going to go around the outside.
I'm down. That is a long zip line.
Yeah, dude. It's a little sketchy.
I mean, our boy hasn't been a detriment either, you know?
He's been a little loot thief, but he's
Yeah.
helped. We're in a good spot, dude.
All right.
We should go get up on top of the building, don't you think? Let's go up these stairs. I just want to get high ground. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Nobody in here?
They're gonna
Team
be out
here?
there somewhere.
Team here?
Yep.
I got him arc starred. Real bad.
Dude, where am I getting shot from?
I'm pushing.
I got a. Couldn't figure out where I was getting shot from.
He's weak on me.
Going around the right side.
Out and to the left. We've got one down. We want to take these guys out now. This is it. Jimmy, out the other way to the left, yeah.
This way?
No, other way, other way.
That's my right.
He's weak, 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 very weak. Let's go!